Hello class, this is Mr. Mormon. Welcome to video 7 in our genetics series. Today we're going to be talking about genetic engineering and genetic technology. Today, genetic technology allows us to do some pretty amazing things. In this video, I'll be highlighting some of the things that are now possible in genetics and some of the things that are going to be coming in the near future. We've already talked about in class the ethics of some of these things, and that's something to keep in mind. Although we may be able to do some of these things, we always have to ask ourselves, how far should we go? What is ethical? What is right? What is wrong? What should we do and what shouldn't we do? So keep these ideas in mind as we explore what is now possible in genetics and what might be possible in the near future. In this picture, you're looking at a mixture of a sheep and a goat. It was created by mixing cells from two separate embryos. It's kind of a strange genetics experiment, but you can see that it is possible to combine the genes of different species to create something that never existed before. Genetic technology allows us to do this now in a few different ways that we will explore. One of the things that I want you to understand is that messing around with DNA of organisms is not something new to humans. We've actually been doing it for thousands of years. Today we manipulate DNA in all sorts of interesting ways in the laboratory, but we've actually done it for as long as we have kept animals as pets and livestock and raised plants on farms. And we've done it through selective breeding. This is where you allow only those organisms with desired characteristics to produce the next generations. By doing this generation after generation, you can create new breeds or new varieties of the species. This diagram shows how we have done it with dogs. Through selective breeding of the original species, the gray wolf, we have created all of these different breeds of dogs that never existed in nature. These are all created by humans. There is no magical forest somewhere in the world where poodles run around in the wild. Poodles, or any of the other breeds, do not come from the wild. They have been created by people through selective breeding. And it's not just dogs. We've done it with cats, we've done it with chickens, we've done it with cows. The things that we have as pets and livestock on farms are very different from the original animals that actually did live in nature. And it's not just animals. We've selectively bred peppers from the original wild species to create all these different varieties. Again, generation after generation, choosing the traits that you want, you can create all sorts of changes. And sometimes those changes can be quite extreme. Look at all the variety in dogs. Here's another interesting example. The wild mustard plant is the ancestral species, the original species, which we have created through selective breeding all of these different vegetables that we eat. By selecting the characteristics that we like and breeding them generation after generation for those traits, we can change the original plant quite a bit, and we've created all of these different varieties. Just like there's no place where poodles run around in nature in the wild, there's also no magical field anywhere where broccoli grows wild. Broccoli is not from the wild, it's not from nature. We have created it along with all of these others. So the definition of selective breeding is that it's a method of improving a species by allowing only those individuals with the most desired traits to make the next generation. And in this way, you can change a species quite a bit. One type of selective breeding is called hybridization. This is when you cross dissimilar individuals to bring together the best of both organisms. The hybrids that you produce are often hardier than either of the parents. American botanist Luther Burbank may have been the greatest selective plant breeder of all time. He developed disease-resistant Burbank potato, which was later exported to Ireland to help fight potato blight and other diseases. During his lifetime, Burbank developed more than 800 varieties of plants, including these Shasta daisies, which you might have in your garden. In many cases, Burbank's hybrid crosses combine the disease resistance of one plant with the food-producing capacity of another. The result was a new line of plants that had the characteristics farmers needed to increase food production. The opposite of hybridization is inbreeding. This is when you continually breed the same individuals or individuals with the same characteristics over and over and over again to create a pedigree or a breed that has a certain set of characteristics that we like. One problem with inbreeding, though, is it also tends to accumulate some of the bad characteristics in the breed, which might include diseases or other deformities like hip dysplasia. Breeders can increase genetic variation by introducing mutation. This can be done with either radiation or chemicals. This process was used to produce the oil-eating bacteria shown in this picture. This image was made using a scanning electron microscope and has been artificially colored. Notice the very, very high magnification. By inducing mutations, hopefully they, by doing it many, many times, they will create an individual with a mutation that has a desired characteristic that was not seen in the original population. And then you can just keep breeding that to get new, a whole new breed with this new characteristic. Geneticists have also used drugs to create new varieties of plants. There are certain drugs that will prevent chromosomal separation during meiosis, and you end up with plants that have more than the normal number of chromosomes. We would call them polyploid. These lilies are a new variety created in this way. Okay, that concludes the first half of this lesson. In Genetic 7b, Genetic Engineering, we'll learn some more ways in which geneticists are altering DNA to create new organisms and to solve problems with genetics.